I love this leotard, by the way. It's so nice. Oh my gosh. It's part of the Bolshoi Stars Senses range. I think it's so elegant. By the way, if you didn't know, Nikolay do incredible dancewear. We have many ranges. We bring out new style lines frequently. And we have many colors, fabrics. The fabrics are actually very high-end Italian fabrics. They are very, very comfortable to wear. They also wash so well. And we have kids dancewear as well. So be sure to check out your nearest retailer for all your Nikolay needs. So anyway, let's get started. So today we're going to be joined by Empowered Dancewear. They are a Nikolay retailer and we are going to learn all about them and show you their store. So stay tuned and feel free to ask any questions that you might have about anything Nikolay related if you wish, about the store itself and so forth. Ah, there we go.
Hi,
Hello, nice to meet you.
nice to meet you.
How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a little overcast here in Florida, so
Oh wow.
good day to be inside.
Yeah, it's we've had a heat wave here in the UK, but today it's really it's quite humid for the UK, but it's also really cloudy and a little bit stormy. So it's a bit strange because we just go from one extreme to the other with our weather. There's no like in between. So would you like to introduce yourselves to the viewers and
Sure.
about your store?
Yeah, my name's Trisha Hennessy. I'm the owner of Empowered Dance and Athletic Wear in Cape Coral, Florida. We opened just about a month and a half ago. July 1st was our first day open.
Oh wow, nice.
I have been in dance forever. I danced fairly seriously through high school, intended to go into dance in college, but had an injury and had to sit it out. So I then continued after college teaching here and there, primarily ballet and modern. It's my two biggest passions I can't tap to save my life. So when we moved to Florida about 4 years ago, and I have a 12-year-old who was very active only in ballet. Got here and she wanted to start taking other styles. So we entered into the world of competitive dance. Competing for 3 years now and is hooked. So I don't see dance anywhere in our future. It's going to be here for a while. But one thing I noticed when we moved down here was the typical dance store that I grew up with, and I grew up in a small town, so we had to drive an hour to get to our closest dance store.
Wow.
But down here, to get to a large store that has selection and variety, we were driving 2 to 3 hours.
Oh my gosh.
To get anything other than the two main dance brands. And it was a little annoying. I came home my first time after going into one of the stores and I looked at my husband and said, I think sometime we should probably look into this.
Yes.
And it kind of went to the back burner. That was 4 years ago, almost exactly. And my daughter started Pointe this year. And I really started looking. I was like, we're driving 3 hours to get fit for Pointe shoes.
Gosh, that's crazy.
Insane. There has to be. So we started putting plans in place. Originally planned to open the first of the year, but I'm kind of glad that fell through with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Closing down. So we used the quiet time during the pandemic to really get everything together. And once things started picking back up here in Florida, we opened our doors.
Nice. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Terre Haute, Indiana.
Oh wow, okay.
Our closest store, and the store I can still remember my first Pointe shoe fitting was Kinney Dance in Minneapolis.
Oh.
I know they're a Nikolay supplier because they fit me for my 2007s.
Oh, that's so cool. So would you like to show us around a little bit and talk about what you have in your store?
I'll come over to the front. we found a great space in a strip mall that we basically just had to put racks on the door, on the walls, and move right in. So it was kind of nice. So here from the front door, we have the main cash register area, our rack of boys things, which is, I don't have a boy dancer, but I know several at our studio alone, and there's never a place to buy boy dancewear. We have our sports bra area and crop tops. Being in a competitive area, we have quite a bit of need for those.
Of course.
Our shorts. This is one of my favorite racks, our little princess ballerina.
Oh, that's adorable.
The little tutus and everything. We do a featured rack every month or so. I switch out what brand I have on the featured rack.
That's a good idea.
They're kind of the nicer Leos, the upgraded ones.
Uh-huh.
We have the stretch bands and jewelry.
Ah.
Cute dance tops and cheer. We've got a large competitive cheer area down here. Tights. Let's see. Our leggings are over here with some extra Leos because I ran out of room. And our main Leo wall that is exploding with leotards right now.
Wow.
And then finally our shoe fitting area.
Oh, this is nice.
With all of our shoes we offer.
Gorgeous.
Our Nikolay shoes that we have in stock.
What ones? Oh yeah, what ones do you carry?
We have the 3007 Pros and Smart Pointe right now. We're looking at adding another line or two in the coming months.
Gosh.
So
Do you know what we should do? Nearer the time, we should do a little video call, and I'll help you decide what ones would be best for your area to carry. That
really sounds great. We do have a very serious ballet school in Fort Myers, which is the next town over. And I had a young lady come in a few weeks ago to be fitted, and she told me, I can't wear Grishko shoes. I don't like them. They're not comfortable. And I went, okay, well, give me a shot. And I put her in the Smart Points, and as soon as they hit her feet, she went, these are them.
I love that. I love that when that happens.
We tried every single shoe I have, and she came back to the Smart Points. So
I love that because I get similar situations, because here in the UK a lot of retailers only stock 2 to 3 models, and it's mostly 2007 with like variations of it. And even me, when I was younger, I was thrown into a 2007, and my foot just does not suit that shoe whatsoever. But also it was far too hard for me, the shape they put me in. But you know, I found that some retailers that, you know, they just want the sale, so they will sell someone else something different, you know, to get the sale over here anyway. So
I've had the same experience. It's fit you to what we have in stock instead of what's good for you.
And to people watching, it's really important that you take your time with a point you fit in, and you find what feels good to you. And if you have a question, ask your retailer about it. Don't just let them throw you in anything, because although, you know, there are incredible fitters out there, absolutely, there are the odds 1 or 2 that just don't care as much, which is seriously bad, because we shouldn't be going through that. And you know, I get dancers come to me, right, and they'll say, go on, sorry,
go ahead.
It's because there's a lag. I get dancers that say to me, oh, you know, I've had Grishkos, or Nikolay's is in America, and you know, there's no model that suits my foot. I've tried them all. And I'm like, oh, you haven't, trust me.
There's so many.
And then they're astounded by how much variation there is. And they had no idea, like, in the different shank strengths either. They just thought there was like 2 shank strengths, which is ridiculous.
Well, and I noticed when everything shut down in Florida, my daughter's studio still did Zoom classes, like a lot of studios did. And I watched quite a few of her point classes. With that being my background with ballet, I was, well, I'm going to watch class and see, well, we have all this extra time. We're home twiddling our thumbs. What can we do? And I'm like, maybe there's something that I noticed that we can work on in our spare time. And I sat watching point class one time, and I'm looking at the screen, and it was astounding the number of shoes that made me cringe. They're going to kill their feet. This is so dangerous for dancers. So that's one of my big passions, is making sure that point shoes fit properly because of the damage that it can cause. And I mean, if you're dancing long enough, it can, you know, really ruin the longevity of your career by having poor fitting shoes so early on that's been one of my main goals. And that was my big thing. Was we shouldn't have to drive this far to get good pointe shoes.
The dance shop Las Vegas. Hi guys. They said it's a very dangerous practice and the shoe should always fit to the foot. Absolutely agree.
Absolutely.
And we've got another comment here from a dancer saying that she loves her Nikolay shoes. Fantastic. What model do you wear? Tell us about it. But no, it's scary. And, you know, even now when I go to classes myself, I do a lot of drop-in classes in London especially. And I try to like just get on with the class and enjoy it. And but if I'm in a pointe class, I end up like looking at everybody in their shoes and I like try to keep calm. And then sometimes at the end, I'll just give my business card out and just say, oh, by the way, I noticed you were struggling with this and it's because of this is going on with your shoe. And they always appreciate that I could see what they was feeling. And I know how to fix it. So it's been really good because I've been able to help so many people just by looking and seeing what was going on with them in class. But it does scare me that a lot of teachers don't seem to be very aware of when it's the shoe and not the dancer. That scares me a lot.
Definitely. And there's a lot. I know the young lady I fit that I was talking about, her teachers will say, we don't like those. You need to get different shoes as soon as she comes in the studio in them. And so it was kind of a struggle for her too, because until we opened, she was driving the 2 to 3 hours to a pointe shoe fitter. And she would show up with shoes, brand new shoes, to get them sewn, and then find out that her teacher didn't like them and they'd have to go back and start all over again. So,
oh my goodness, that's insane. Grace Phillips says, I am starting today at my new school and can't wait to try my new dream points that you helped me with. Oh, Grace, it was great. So Grace did a little video call with me from Jennifer's store in Carolina, and it was really fun because we got to like give a little bit of assistance and help with that, and she looked really beautiful in her dream points. Nice. We've also got a comment from Dancing Alex. What shoes do you recommend for boys ballet? So do you mean slippers or do you mean pointe shoes? Because guys can go on pointe too. I fitted a lot of guys for pointe shoes.
Hi Alex. I know Alex. He dances at my daughter's studio. Alex, I have some great, one of the ones that I loved dancing in, I ordered them for their boys. I have the tempos.
Yay, I love
for
tempos.
The boys.
That's fantastic.
I do have an order of Dream Stretch coming.
Oh yes, Dream Stretch.
But I like the structure of the tempos, especially one thing that I struggled with. I did pointe in ballet, but modern was more my thing. I have horrible arches. My arches just do not do.
Oh.
But I loved the tempo with the elastic on the bottom.
Yes.
Always made my arches so much better than they actually are. That I could pull it off a lot easier when I was in my slippers.
Yes. For you guys watching, the fit of a slipper is actually very important. I need to do a YouTube video about this because I've collected a lot of before and after pictures of people that I fitted with their slippers that, oh my God, the sights I've seen, you guys, honestly. A slipper has to hug your foot in the right areas and it's got to show off your foot. But also it's got to hold your arch correctly. There are so many people out there that are in slippers that are not grabbing their arch. So even when they're doing a tendu, it's saggy and it's not giving any support whatsoever. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm fighting right now kind of a misconception in a lot of the dancers down here of growth room.
Oh yes, oh my God, I get that too.
You don't need a ton. It's going to stretch with your foot. So especially the soft leather, it's going to stretch to your foot. You don't need a thumb's worth of growth room. I promise you. Right? I'm not to sell you extra shoes. It's well, we don't want to have to come buy new shoes in a month. You won't. They will mold to your foot. They will fit you. Yeah. You don't need that much room to grow. They're
oh my God, honestly, it is crazy. And also the shoes that with elastic drawstring, sometimes people have gone too wide with them. So even when they pull the drawstring, it ends up putting too much pressure on their Achilles. Yes. And I'm just like, oh my God, please just get your slippers fitted correctly.
More than one.
Bad.
And one.
Go on, sorry.
I said there's more than one size and one style out there.
Yep.
There's so many. It's crazy to me that even now, I mean, back when I was dancing, it was a different world. Dance is so much different now than it was back then.
Yeah.
But even back then, it's like there were so many options, and then have people go, "Oh, I only wear this shoe. This is the only ballet slipper."
Gosh.
There's so many more. Come try.
I mean, even with Grishka or Nikolay slippers alone, I've tried, gosh, probably 6 models. Nowadays, I tend to wear a special order dream stretch. I have the vamp cut down, the sides cut down, and I also have a vegan sole. And they're my personal favorite at the moment. But even still, whenever a slipper comes out by our brand, I always try it, and so I can talk to people about it and also know what foot it's gonna suit. It's nice to be able to do that. And that also leads me on to you viewers watching. Don't forget that we can special order a lot of our items, not just the Pointe shoes. So it's really nice that we have such incredible opportunity to do that with our products. So also, by the way, where your store is located, is it easy to get to? What's the area like? Tell us about it.
We were lucky to find a store that is on one of the main roads. That was one thing. When we were looking for a location, my realtor said, what are you looking for? And the square footage wasn't as big of a deal. I was like, we can make something work that's not perfect that way. I said, but I can't be difficult to get to, because so many people will get frustrated and go, oh, just order it online. And they're off. So we are right on Pine Island Road, which is one of the main east-west roads that goes through Cape Coral. And it's a great location. We have so many studios in the area. When we were looking things up, we have probably, my estimate we have a lot of ballroom. Being in Southwest Florida, there's a lot of Latin ballroom studios.
Oh, interesting.
As well, but dance studios and the ballroom studios, there's close to 20 to 25 studios in the area.
Wow.
And a lot of brands, when I contacted them, said, your area is just so small, we can't support that. And that Southwest Florida is small town, and we are in a sense, but we're very populated small towns. So even though it's still small town feel, we have a pretty intense population for the area, or for what people perceive, because they're looking at Orlando and Miami and comparing us to them. Yeah, we're definitely smaller. But we have a huge dance community. Most of our high schools have great dance programs, middle schools, and even some of the elementary dance programs. So we have dancers taking class 5 days a week, all day. We're at the studio 15 hours or so a week right now.
Wow, yeah.
Here, and we're probably one of the middle of the road competitive dancers as far as the number of hours we're there. So we have a lot of dancers. So I wanted to make sure I was accessible to as many as possible. The neighboring county to the north has no stores in the entire county.
Wow.
And so I was like, well, if we're accessible to them as well, then that way. But I'm excited. I talked to Peter a couple of weeks ago and found out that I am the sole Nikolay provider. We have a pretty good radius, which takes care of almost our entire county. So
wow, fantastic.
I'm excited for that. And I love Nikolay products. And I can't wait until the new shipments come in every time I get them.
Have you got any of our dancewear as well?
I do.
Show us.
I ordered a few mainly to try to figure out sizing, because every brand is a little different.
Of course.
Let's see, which ones do we have? We have this lovely, I'm with you, I love the sheer and the lace.
Yes, me too.
Like the one that you have on, oops, I'm not pointing high enough.
Really nice.
This one is just gorgeous. I absolutely love this, Leo.
Oh, the Tiffany. The Tiffany is such a
Tiffany blue is so pretty.
It's so unique.
And then my third one that I have right now is the the strap detail, the ribbon detail on the basic camisole.
Academy collection.
It is so pretty on, and I love the adjustable straps of most of the Leos.
Oh yeah, do you know, I was so pleased about that because I really suffer with the straps. They always like fall off.
Yeah, and I'm the same. I'm very short torso wise.
Same.
So if I get something that fits my girth, it's either stretched way too far down or falls off. If I get the coverage I want. So having the adjustable straps is a great feature for
Absolutely.
And I have tights coming in. They're coming. Our rep Bill.
I love Bill.
I love Bill. Knowing that I have a dancer, he'll come in and be like, "Here, try these," and just kind of toss something.
That's great.
She put the tights on. She was at Joffrey for 2 weeks and came back and said, "Pair of tights Bill wants you to try on." And she tried them on one day in the store and comes out of the dressing room and she's like, "Oh, they're really comfortable." And she goes back in and I'm thinking she's coming out and she's going to get back in her clothes. And she puts her jean shorts on over her tights. And
love it.
You could take those off. She goes, "They're really comfortable. I don't really want to."
Yeah, I've got a pair on right now. They're really good. They improved their tights a lot. They're now made in Italy. And I've worn many brands of tights myself, but what I really like is the fact that they stretch nicely. It doesn't feel restrictive. And also, like, the sizing is really spot on because I've got quite short legs. I'm 28-inch leg. And I sometimes find with some brands of tights that to fit my curvy body right is that I end up going up a size, but then they end up with the waist being like really high. So luckily enough, the sizing on these tights is really good. And the colour's really lovely as well because it matches the slippers better. Because some brands of tights are either like too bright pink, or they're too natural, where these are kind of in between in that colour. Obviously, we do other colours as well for those people wondering. I wear the convertibles personally because I love to whip my feet out for Pointe and put my toe pads on under my tights. So yeah, I've been really pleased with them so far, which is great.
With the dream stretch.
Yes, they match beautifully. And I really think it's nice when you have tights that match the slipper because then when you actually, you know, when people see you from afar, it kind of extends the line, which I think is really nice. Alex has asked, are the boy ballet shoes soft?
Yes, sir, they are.
Very. All our fabrics are really chosen particularly. So basically with our canvas on our slippers, it varies, but on the tempo, the canvas is like, it's not terribly stretchy, but it's not tight feeling, it's just right. But also they have a cushioned heel and a cushioned ball of the foot, so it's great shock absorption from landing from jumps. And they're very durable because I don't know about you guys, but when I've worn other slippers, my big toe tends to go through the slipper within like 3 months and I'm like, oh great. So
that's the main point of wear, it seems like, for some reason. I can't figure out why. Like, are we doing that many tendus to the back that our big toe is continually rubbing? I understand. Looking at ballet, what are we doing so much that the big toe is much easier than everywhere else?
It's crazy. Anyone else who has a question, feel free to ask. So tell us a little bit about the point shoe fittings that you guys do. Do people need to book in advance, or how does it work with your system?
Or that I can give as much attention as possible. I hate point shoe fittings where you feel like you're being rushed or on you. So I prefer that they're booked in advance. We have on our website, empdancewear.com, there is a online booking that you can schedule a point shoe fitting. If you don't happen to schedule, there's a good chance we'll have time to do it. Especially my daughter will be doing virtual school this year. So she kind of has taken up the assistant store manager type position. She loves trying to help people find what they're looking for, running the cash register and everything like that. So here I definitely have the ability to step away and focus on a point shoe fitting. So for the most part, walk-ins are okay. But if we know you're coming, I can get a little bit of information and kind of think ahead before you get here. One thing I like, if you have an Instagram, I can go and maybe check out your dancing on Instagram.
Yes.
And see what you're looking, what type of shoe you're in now. Are you do you have crazy strong feet? So I know I need to look at harder shanks versus a beginner who would like something a little more flexible, that they're not fighting their shoes so much every time they try to point. So that's helpful to have that knowledge ahead of time, but we're open for anybody who wants to come and get a point shoe fitting. So we're here.
Yeah, that's really good. And it's nice that, like you just mentioned, it's really crucial to check out the dancer's old shoes if she's on point already. So you guys watching, always take your old shoes or current shoes with you to a fitting, because it really helps us fitters out. Kaylani, who is part of NG Generation, has just popped in. Kaylani, I was about to message you actually. After this stream, I don't know if you're free, but if you want to hop on with me on my Instagram for a live, we can do that live we was talking about. So that will be about 5 p.m. my time, which is, oh God, I think you're PST, right? So 8 hours behind that. If you're available, just let me know. Anyways. So tell me a little bit more about the dancers in your area. With point shoes especially, do you ever get like teachers who kind of try to throw everybody in the same kind of brand and try to dictate to you how to fit a shoe, or are teachers quite relaxed around there and just let you get on with your job?
Apart from one or two really, like what I consider the strict ballet programs, the teachers don't seem to be too involved. Which is kind of sad. I love like the idea of one thing I want to try to offer, especially as the new school year starts and we get new girls coming onto Pointe, almost point shoe fitting parties where any come together with your teacher, so that you have the input from the teacher who knows your feet better than I do. I'm looking at a quick glance and best judgments based on that, but somebody who really knows their feet can come in and help give more guidance. That one thing, a beginner point shoe student doesn't know what it's supposed to feel like or to work, so it's kind of hard sometimes to really get the feedback to know if a shoe is a good fit with a beginner. So I like the idea of being involved. I haven't seen it a whole lot though, apart from the one or two stricter programs that we have down here. So teachers, if you're watching, please come in with your dancers. We'd love to have you join our fittings.
It's really nice when I do mobile fittings and I go to schools. It's really nice when you've got the teacher there like watching and stuff, because also it instills their confidence. Oh, we're getting an echo for some reason. I don't know what that is. Hang on. Let's see. That's better. That's better. So anyone who's watching, if you've got a question, feel free to pop it below. So let me just look through my questions I got here. Oh yeah. So how has it been with coronavirus times for you? Are you now open? Is it 2 people in a store? How are you playing it at the moment?
Are requesting masks when you're in the store. Haven't really limited a lot. Things are kind of still ramping back up here. Our school here, we have some studios that are starting this week, I believe. But for the most part, our school year got bumped back to August 31st is our start date for school. So a lot of the studios follow that. They follow the school year schedule. So we've still been a little bit in that summer lull, just starting to get into back to school. It's kind of, I'm playing it by ear with what people are comfortable with. This weekend we had a really busy Saturday, and back to people coming in, but they're all girls that I knew danced together, so they've been together through the summer. So we didn't worry about it too much. But we are sanitizing everything every time. We do the doors, the counters, the hangers. I'm spraying, letting people try things on, but then I spray it down with rubbing alcohol solution to sanitize it after someone's tried it on. So we're doing everything we can to maintain the cleanliness of our store. And so we're just kind of playing by ear right now and seeing how the next few weeks go, and then months after that.
Yeah, no, I'm really pleased that there's some sort of normality coming back, even in the UK now. I've been back fitting in person since mid-July, and it's so good because, like, obviously when I wasn't fitting, there was only so much I could do. I'm still doing virtual fittings, but it's not the same. I mean, it's great that I can help people from afar, but at the same time, for people local to me that were desperate to see me, it was very tricky. So I'm now back at studios doing fittings as well, which is great. I just really hope that, you know, come winter time, we don't get like a second wave over here, because unfortunately a lot of British people are still really stupid, and they're going out without masks, and they're just not caring, and they're just acting like nothing ever happened, which is very strange.
Yeah, we had that once Florida started opening back up again. Everybody went, okay, we're back to normal. And
oh my God.
Surge, and it got a little serious for a while, but I think we've kind of slowed it down a little bit. It hasn't been as bad in the last few weeks, so it seems.
So we have a question from Kaylani. She's one of our NG Generation girls. For you guys that don't know, NG Generation is our ambassador sort of program that we have, and every year we do an audition kind of process, so be sure to follow NG Generation on Instagram. So Kaylani says, why do we sew ribbons at our arch? Have you heard of sewing it at the heel, not the elastic ribbons? So ribbons should always, in my opinion, and most people's opinion, be sewn at where the dancer's arch is. And everyone's arch is different, because the idea of ribbons is to pull up your arch and to make your arch appear accentuated, but also to give that support at that crucial area. So personally, what I do when I've got a customer, I will put the point shoe on her foot. I will put the ribbon under her foot put her foot on point to see where her arch bends, or his arch bends, and I will pin it at that exact area. There are old school methods where you fold the heel piece, mark with a pencil, and you sew it there. Mm-hmm. Personally, I don't find that method works best for me. And for them to say to put the ribbon at the heel, no, absolutely not. That's very bizarre, because it will pull you off point. As for elastics, there's many types of elastics. We should choose the right elastics for the foot that we're fitting, but also we should pay attention to where they need that elastic. For example, if it's just a singular piece of elastic, personally, I would always do it either side of the back seam. Let me grab a shoe, hang on. It's a very important topic, and I think I need to do a video about it sometime. See this back seam, you guys? I do it either side of the back seam, and I do it at a slight forwards angle so that it sits nice. If someone needs crisscross, obviously I'll do crisscross, and I'll determine what strength of elastic they need by looking at their foot. But Kaylani, that is very strange that they've told you to put the ribbon at the heel. I don't get that. What would you like to say? What tips do you give, and how do you do it? Because everyone is different.
And I was taught, again, with the kind of the old way of doing it, the heel forward. It again kind of depends on the dancer and where they really need it. One thing that I find really interesting, and I know we all do it, as retailers offering sewing ribbons and elastics.
Yes.
It tells me I think that is a crucial skill that if you're going to be on point, please learn how to sew your ribbons and elastics. Mm-hmm. Yes, your moms will, but if you're going to continue on point, your mom will not be with you when you are in a training program or dancing professionally. So you need to learn how to sew your ribbons and your elastics.
Absolutely. I'm a bit torn with that. I do think everyone should learn to sew, absolutely. But also I think if they've got the money and they don't care about money, then of course they're going to pay for that service. So I get a lot of people pay me to do it because they just can't be bothered. And I think if they've got the money, great. But I always do tell them, you know, please at some stage do sit down and learn how to do it, because, you know, as you said, it's a great skill to have, especially if they're going to be a full-timer. And if you're a professional, oh my God, you're going to go through shoes like you wouldn't believe. So you've got to know how to do that. And I always say, you know, don't panic if you mess up. You can always unpick it and do it again. You're not going to ruin the shoe. Don't worry about that, you know. You've got to learn somehow. So even practicing on an old pair, at least then you will have that kind of comfort in knowing that you're really not going to mess up.
Exactly.
And there's many ways to sew them. You know, there's plenty of tutorials on YouTube as well that you can follow along. Kaylani said that it wasn't her teacher, it was her friend's teacher that told the whole class that. Well, that's very strange. I don't know what to say about that. In all of my time, I've never had a teacher say that, so that's unique.
Yeah,
the dance shop Las Vegas, always learn to sew. We do not offer sewing because it's so tailored. True, but also if I'm doing it for a customer personally, I will measure the ribbons and elastics on their foot, so I'm not just winging it, because that's another thing, like you can't wing it. Obviously, as we both know, you've got to find where it's going to be for that dancer. If it's a dancer I know well, I already know where it's going to be. But if it's a dancer I've never sewn shoes for before, I always measure on the foot. It's really important. And that leads me to another important topic. There's someone in the UK who, by mail order, you'll send the shoes to them without anything pinned and they'll sew them. That's not really appropriate in my opinion. Like, you can't just guess it like that. Let's see if we got any more questions here. Oh, here we go. This is a good one. What shoe do you recommend for Demi Pointe? Do you guys sell Demi Pointe shoes? Because I know in America it's not as heard of.
I don't. And
grab one. Hang on.
Oddly, when we talked about my daughter starting Pointe, they suggested Demi Pointe shoes, and which part of another reason of opening the store. I went to one of the stores and they said, oh, we just put them in regular Pointe shoes, and the just don't go up on Pointe.
Oh my God.
So you're giving girls who dream of going on Pointe a pair of real Pointe shoes that don't have the strength for, don't have the training for, and saying, okay, but don't go on Pointe. They're going to go in their room, close their door.
Of course they are.
Go on Pointe.
But also, do you know what's really dangerous about that is, because the Pointe shoe has a shank, even if it's a soft shank, they're still not going to be able to get a true Demi Pointe. And the box construction is different in a Demi Pointe. So here you go. I'm about to give you a bit of a lowdown on a Demi Pointe shoe. So before I go on to this, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I'll take up the whole stream, because you know what I'm like. Once I get going, that's it. So I have a video I filmed about 2 years ago. It's on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/straight to the point. I have a very intricate video telling you guys why Demi Pointes are great, what is the difference between Demi Pointes. Now with Nikolay as a brand, we can create a Demi Pointe shoe on any model of actual Pointe shoe. Now that is amazing, and let me tell you why that's important. No foot is the same. So our classic one, which is the Exam, is built on a 2007 last. Now the 2007 last does work on an incredible amount of dancers, which is wonderful, but on the odd occasion you will get a dancer that needs a different last. Now what's different? No shank, as you can see, but the sole is rigid, so we get some tension to work the foot. They look exactly like a Pointe shoe, as you can see, but the box and the wings, the paste is not taken all the way up. It's what they call, I can't remember if it's a half box or 3/4 box, but the paste isn't taken up as high as the vamp and the wings. Now this part is important because if it's a Pointe shoe that you're using as a Demi Pointe, you know, the box is going to be too hard, so you're not going to be able to roll and put your foot on Demi Pointe correctly, and you're going to be fighting it a lot. So look how swishy it is around these parts, but this part is harder. It has a platform, but the platform is not as broad as a Pointe shoe platform, but you can still place one foot on Pointe. Also, they're very comfortable on the inside. So if you're a very young dancer, your foot is still, you know, getting used to the feeling of being in a Pointe shoe, right? So with these, it's not going to be as scary, and it's going to feel more kind of like a gradual process to getting used to that shoe. Over here in the UK, we have to wear these in some exams. So Royal Academy of Dance, we have to wear them in Inter Foundation, Intermediate, and I think Advanced 1. And in some other associations, you have to wear them as well. I know it's very different in America, but over here, personally, what I'm doing is I'm getting more schools used to the fact that dancers should try to wear these before getting actual Pointe shoes. Because honestly, I see such a difference in strength of ankles, ankle alignment, the way they point their feet, the articulation through the metatarsals. They are a godsend for that. Let's have a look through here. So, did you ever wear Demi points?
I didn't. I actually started dancing fairly late compared to most. I was honestly, my older sister was a cheerleader, and I always wanted to be like her, so I wanted to cheer. I had no flexibility whatsoever, which is kind of funny because my daughter and I are both hypermobile, but I didn't have the strength for the flexibility.
Yep.
So I tried out for cheerleading and didn't make it, and I was devastated in 6th grade.
Oh.
And my sister goes, well, maybe if you took some ballet classes, it would help with your flexibility, and then next year you'll have a better chance. I went, oh, that. And I took a ballet class. I still remember my first ballet teacher. She passed away recently. She was when I took from her, and little old woman. Her and her sister were in the circus. She was probably in her late 70s, early 80s, and she was in the studio in ballet tights and slippers and a leotard.
Oh, that's adorable.
Back of her head. I loved her to death. But she was a very formidable woman and scared the heck out of me. But I loved it and never looked back at going into cheerleading again, and stayed dancing and just poured all of my time into it. But she went straight from soft slippers to point shoes. We didn't do it. Was once you were ready, you just dove head first into pointe. So a little intimidating, I agree. And trying to figure out, especially having no idea what a pointe shoe was supposed to fit like. Not being from a family that was around dance much, it was all a guess of what I was doing, and go home and try things out. And my mom would walk in the kitchen and go, what are you doing? What's going on right now? And then even through injuries, like I sprained my right ankle. And so I would put my left shoe on and do single leg releves in the kitchen until I was blue in the face. My left was always great. But of course, most studios, when you're doing group things, the right is the side that they work. And everything was on my right foot. And I went, my right can't do it.
Oh, God.
I always joked, even my senior year of high school, going into recital, we did Capelia, and had an entire section of single leg releves on the right foot. And it's like we did, I swear, 20 of them in a row. And like, she started choreographing, and I looked at her like, you're trying to kill me. You really want me to give up? And it was so great, though, when I get out at recital and I'm like, oh gosh, please don't fall. Please don't fall off of your point.
That's scary.
But the accomplishment of getting through points, all of my right pirouettes, all.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
My left foot, I'm so much stronger on, and no matter what I do, I don't think my right will ever.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's so rare that I meet a dancer that prefers the left. It's most common that the left is the weaker one, especially when I'm fitting shoes. But I always try to say, like, try to work on it, because mine was really bad, my left, because I've sprained it so many times and I have plantar fasciitis in it. So I have to work really hard with it. And you know what? I haven't had my pointe shoes on for like a month. And I put them on the other day and I was like, oh my God, my left is so scary right now. I've got to work on that.
Well, I haven't taken a pointe class in years. But I jokingly, when my daughter outgrew her shoes, I popped her old ones on, because we have the same size foot, almost the exact.
Wow.
Oh, these actually fit. These are comfy. It's just like, oh my gosh, Mom, please stop. No. I'll take pointe class with you. No, you can't.
Would you ever go back to pointe?
I would love to. We don't have a whole lot of adult classes.
Oh, that's really sad.
It's like they're either very beginner classes that I would like more from their social classes. So you go, you do
I know the type.
It's friendship building more, an activity to do. Yeah. Or they're very advanced classes, and I can't keep up anymore.
I know what you mean. It's really hard to find that middle ground.
Yeah.
Because I live in Essex, which is...
But not quite to the pre-professional or professional.
Yeah. I live in Essex next to London, which is only 30 minutes from London, thank goodness. I'm so pleased because the classes in Essex, there's a lot of beginner adult ballet, but there's not really much higher than that. And then I used to join in with the younger dancers to get my exams done and stuff, which was all fun and everything, but I didn't want to do syllabus forever. I wanted to just dance. So I go to London mostly now for dropping classes, so I'm really lucky that I've got that, because in other parts of the UK they don't have that. It's literally just mostly adult beginners, which is really sad. Let's have a look at these questions. So we've got Alex says, what time is it in the UK? It's 4:45 in the evening, and I woke up quite late today, and I've got like so much stuff to do, which is crazy. Being self-employed, kind of pick and choose what I do, and today I had no fittings to do, so it's kind of a blessing. What else we got here? Let's see. How to achieve popularity in ballet. What do you mean by that? Do you mean growing as a dancer and getting more auditions, or yeah, tell us a bit more about what you mean by that if you're still on the stream. Yeah, is there anything you would like to add to this stream, by the way? We've got just less than 15 minutes left.
You know, I'm not sure. I think we've covered quite a bit. Again, my biggest philosophy, I know I have some of our local dancers watching, is making sure that your shoes fit you and not just what is available. I will be the first to say, if you come to get a fitting and I don't have a shoe for you, I will let you know. Yes. I would love to sell a pair of Pointe shoes, but I will make sure that what you go home with is actually a pair of shoes that you will be able to dance in healthily for as long as the shoe will last for your foot. And then also, as you mentioned, especially with Nikolay, you can order almost anything imaginable in a shoe. So if there's something that you get home and you're like, you know, they fit really well in the store, but as I danced in them, they broke down too fast. Okay, well, maybe you need a harder shank. We can order them. They maybe, you know, oh, my box felt like it went up a little bit too high. We can customize that.
Exactly.
And if you come in and communicate that, it makes it so much easier for
yes. So you know what? That's an important part. That's a very important thing we should speak about, actually, that I haven't spoken about before. And that is, never be too shy to communicate with your Pointe shoe fitter what you personally felt in your shoes, and we can help you. If you just go somewhere else and keep buying different Pointe shoes, you're never going to be satisfied. So even I know it myself, because I've been there, you know, years ago when I wasn't doing my job, I'd end up, everyone would say different things to me. It was very confusing, very overwhelming. And, you know, you need to, everyone feels something different, and everyone has different technique, different strengths, different weaknesses. It's not until you've worn your shoes a while, a few months at least, that you can become accustomed to it and you can see what you were struggling with and how we've got to change it. Pointe shoes are something that is perfected over time. We don't just rock up, get you your perfect Pointe shoe, and that's it for life. Everything changes. So really, you know, go back to your fitter, show them the old shoes, they can look at them, analyze them. You can have a chat about what you felt, what you liked, what you didn't like. That fitter can then work with you and perfect it. If you keep going to different Pointe shoe fitters, you're going to become very confused, because each fitter has their way of fitting a shoe.
Yeah, and it's very frustrating too as a dancer to not be able to ever have a great pair of shoes. I was telling Peter this the other day. I was put in a pair of 2007s when I was 17 or 18, and I thought they were the worst shoes I've ever worn in my life. They were so uncomfortable, and I'd been on Pointe for a few years, and I just couldn't understand why they were so bad for my foot. And so when I ordered in the 3007s, I sat one day and just went through and played with shoes and put them on my own feet. And I went, you know, these are very similar to the 2007s, and they're comfortable. What the heck? What is going on? I'm like, oh, yeah, your feet change as you get older, but they usually get wider, not narrow, more narrow. And the 2007s were so uncomfortable. They were so hard. They were, there were so many things I could have said about them.
Yeah.
But one thing that I'm trying to do, even with the babies that come in to get their first pair of ballet shoes, I've been working on trying to come up with the descriptive words and teaching them
yes,
explain how their shoes fit. So, one thing I've been telling a lot of the little ones, I'm like, does it feel like it's giving you a hug? It's not, it's not squeezing you. It's not a bear. Is it a nice hug? And they looked at me for a second and was like, wait, what are you asking? I was like, okay, does it feel like it's a sock, or does it feel like you're putting on mommy's shoes? It's trying to come up with different words, getting them used to explaining their shoes. Now, so then in 5 or 10 years, as they grow up, they're thinking about this type of thing. So when they put on their first pair of Pointe shoes, they can articulate what it feels like, then it's uncomfortable. Or,
yes, that's really important. That's a really good idea, actually.
So it's something I started, really over the past couple of weeks. We've not been open that long to really do that a whole lot. But even in my past experience, I used to manage studios that had some dancewear in store. So that was kind of something with the little ones. The older ones are going to do what they're going to do and tell you what they feel like telling you as they especially hit teenage years and go through all that fun. But with the little ones, trying to teach them how to express, because a shoe, whether it's a jazz shoe or a tap shoe, can really change your perception of the style of dance. And no more so is that true than, especially in ballet. A poor fitting slipper or Pointe shoe is going to completely alter what you think of that style for the rest of your life. And whether or not you're a good fit in Pointe. I was, again, I was in a small area. We didn't have, I think we had 4 or 5 dance studios in my hometown. And I thought I had horrible feet. I thought I would never be able to do ballet.
Oh, wow.
Seriously, because I do have very low arches. I have stronger feet, but my arches are not the idyllic, my daughter's teacher always said cashews is what she wanted their feet to look like. And I'd have that.
I know what you mean.
But I don't have that foot ever. But knowing now that as I'm older, that had I put on a different pair of shoes that fit me.
Yes, it can make the world of difference, right?
I could have made it a little bit farther.
That's an important factor, actually. Guys, don't be obsessed about having high arches. It's not the be all and end all. And I get so many dancers that are in shoes that don't show off their feet, even slippers. And, it's all about finding that right shoe that can accentuate what you've got. And it's actually better to have strength and alignment rather than obsessing about this flexibility, because I tell you what, the dancers I see with extreme flexibility have often got zero strength to go with it. So honestly, guys, don't worry about having these banana feet, because they're not the be all and end all.
The same thing, I think, especially now that we're on Instagram, the Instagram sensations of, oh, look how flexible I am, and look how, oh my gosh, that is, I really feel like it's killing dance 100%.
I agree.
And I have my daughter has hypermobility, and so she is ridiculously flexible. But teaching her the strength behind it, and that just because you can put your leg next to your head doesn't necessarily mean you should. She still does all the time. We joke. Her feet are she never has both feet on the floor at any given point. But, teaching the strength behind it is so much more important and I would rather see, as we're looking, especially at competition dance, it's tricks.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Tricks everywhere. I would rather see solid technique with zero tricks than so-so technique and all these cool things that you can do.
It's crazy.
Focus on the technique.
Yeah. Here in the UK, competition dance has become a huge thing. And unfortunately, even the teachers are to blame in some of these schools. They literally just focus on acro and doing all this crazy flexibility to get these tricks in their dances. But then when you watch them dance, it's actually kind of scary, because you think, oh my God, you know, I've even had dancers come to me that have been wrecked by their teachers because they're dancing somewhere that, you know, isn't that great in terms of the teacher caring about the dancer. They're just caring about what they're going to win next season. So really be cautious where you dance, guys. Really check out where you're dancing. Check out your teacher's credentials. Don't be scared to do some background search, because some of these teachers lie.
They can't do anything on their left. Well, what are you going to do with your dance career if you never do even a single pirouette on your left? I don't understand. But yeah, it's so important making sure that what you're learning, especially young. A lot of people think, oh, they're young, it's just for fun. But you know, the ballet training can start so early, and if you learn poorly at the beginning, it takes so much longer to fix things that you've learned incorrectly.
Absolutely.
So, really vetting your studio is important.
Yes. And I feel that nowadays with social media, there's a lot of studios that lie about what they've achieved, because people are just so busy now. They don't want to do this background searching, and really they should. Even if there's any dance parents watching, just be really careful, because I've seen all sorts in the UK even as well.
Yeah, I was lucky. I was in some dance teacher groups on Facebook when we moved here, and I had one of the teachers locally message me privately. She goes, "Yeah, I'm friends with teachers at every studio, so I can't put this out here publicly, but this is the studio you need to go to." She goes, "If you want," she goes, "I don't know if they have any teaching positions." I'm like, well, I'm not really worried about teaching right now, but I need to find some place for my daughter where you know, she has the strong technique. And
we've got 1 minute and 45 seconds left, just so you know. Would you like to just drop your website address? And by the way, everyone watching, make sure it's echoing for some reason. Everyone watching, if you do not follow on Instagram as well.
Yes, that would be fantastic. Okay, there we go. Our address is now in the comments.
Excellent. So thank you so much for joining us. And I'll upload this to IGTV later on, so everyone can rewatch if you've just joined on. And I look forward to helping you in the future with some extra Nikolay coaching as well.
Absolutely. I'll reach out. We'll probably look at those in the next few months. Things in, so
great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for coming. Thanks to everyone for your questions, by the way. It's been a really good one. We've got loads of questions today. Speak to you all soon, and thanks again. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.